Soy La LATA, bienvenidos. Estamos con the living legend, Mr. Harrison Ford. How are you, man?
I'm good, thank you.
It's an honor to be with you.
Well, thank you very much.
Hello, man.
Hello, man.
Welcome to La LATA.
Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
You are the director of Ender's Game.
They tell me.
Viola Davis, how are you?
I am very good. I love how you say my name.
Yeah, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
And you say it with flavor.
Exactly. Asa, how are you, man?
I'm very good, thank you.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
Please tell me about this movie. Who is Ender?
Ender is one of the very few, very smart children on Earth, and he and a group of other kids are taken up to Battle School, which is this space station where they are trained to be the next commanders, the next strategists, and the next geniuses to help defend Earth against an alien invasion.
They've learned our weaknesses. And the alien attack nearly destroyed us. That must never be allowed to happen again.
And you are back again in the space.
Well, yes, I'm glad to be back. I'm delighted with this film and with the opportunities it presents to bring a big entertainment to the audience. It's a great audience film. But it's also a film that has a lot of interesting themes and underlying seriousness to it.
How difficult was to make this universe into the big screen based in the book?
Well, I think the thing about Ender's Game is that it's a complicated movie to make because it requires two things. It requires these huge, epic, futuristic sets and the battle room where young people fly around in zero gravity, and those are technically very complicated things to create. But also, at its heart, it's a very strong character-driven story about a complicated young hero who is sometimes very kind and compassionate, but can also be very aggressive and very violent. And he is trying to find this balance in his nature.
Now! Ender is a young man, a young boy who literally has gifts, enormous gifts of leadership. And he is recruited to kind of explore those leadership skills.
And so you need some very good actors at the heart of this movie. And in that sense, you need good dramatic actors. So you have to be careful that you don't think you're just making cool action, and you have to be careful that you're not just making drama. You have to do both. You have to create great, beautiful visual spectacle, and then at the center you have to have these very strong performances from young actors.
If we're going to survive, we need a new kind of soldier. One who doesn't think the way we think. Fear the things we fear.
And it's very interesting about the space movies, but it doesn't matter which year are we. Everybody loves them.
I think it's true. We're finding that that there's broad interest in this film from women, young women, older women. I'm delighted by that.
I have 50-year-old people. I have men, women, 50-year-old people, 40-year-old people, 14-year-old sons of my friends calling me saying, when is Ender's Game coming out? Oh my God, can I go to the premiere? Can I do this? Can I do that? And they don't just say, I love the book. They say, this is my favorite book of all time. So, I'll tell you what it makes me do. It makes me get very nervous. Because then all of a sudden, it's like, is it my responsibility to make this movie great? I just play Major Anderson. But I think it's great to be a part of something that has a huge following. It makes me feel like, you know, that I'm going to be imprinted in someone's memory.
I'm a massive science fiction fan, so to be able to be a film of that genre has always been really exciting for me, and especially one which already has such a huge fan base. There are millions of people which love the story, and yeah, it's really exciting to be able to bring it to the big screen.
One the enemy would never expect.
We need minds like yours, Ender. You'll be the finest commander we've ever trained.
So I'm not the first?
No, but you will be the last.
You work with a living legend in this topic that is Harrison Ford.
Yes, one of the things about working with Harrison Ford was, of course, he's a little intimidating when you meet him, not because he himself is, it's Harrison Ford. So, okay, it's Harrison Ford. This was actually useful for the young actor Asa Butlefield, I think, because I shot the film in sequence, partly because Asa grew 2 inches during the making of the film. So you're dealing with a young boy who's growing, but also because at the beginning of the movie, the character is quite intimidated by the character of Colonel Graff, played by Harrison Ford.
Well, I'm both mentor and manipulator.
Exactly.
And so it's interesting to watch the level of his trust, the level of his perception about what it is that I'm asking of him. It's a complicated relationship.
Doing well. Top test scores in class, highest battle room ratings. But you have a habit of upsetting your commander.
I find it hard to respect someone just because they outrank me, sir.
Puts you in a difficult position, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
And by the end of the movie, he's ready to stand up to him and really speak to him as an adult. So it was good to start at the beginning of the movie because the young actor was intimidated by Harrison Ford, but by the end of the movie, not so much. Now he's ready to say Harrison. So
I'm not agree with you.
I don't agree with you. Yeah.
What I found with Harrison is, I was intimidated at the start, as anyone would be, but what I found is that how comfortable he makes you feel just on set, and he brings the best out of you.
I loved it. I love going to... Listen, I loved working with him in general, but working with him and having to go really just fight.
Yeah.
Because when you fight as an actor, when you're in a scene where you're fighting, it's acting at its best.
I'll do everything I can to win this war.
In this movie, you have a combination between a lot of actors, very experienced, and also a younger.
Yes.
How do you feel with this kind of work with us and?
Well, the young people in this film are extraordinarily talented, and they really worked very hard on all aspects of their responsibilities. The work that they do in the game room in weightlessness was really physically very demanding and rigorous, and they spent a lot of time training for that.
I think they're awesome. This is a generation of young actors, Asa and Hallie and Abigail, that will really make their mark. These are the young actors that you really want to pass the baton to because they are highly skilled. They're very, very, very grounded.
But also, they're experienced actors, and they really are. We had a wonderful cast of experienced young actors, and also I had the opportunity to work with Viola Davis and Sir Ben Kingsley, who are amongst the best of my generation and below.
You will be remembered as a hero.
And what about the battles in the space? We have seen a lot of battles in the space in the history of movies, but you put a lot of new technology with these zooms, and
yes,
you move the universe as you wish. Tell me about that.
Oh, well, thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, thank you. The simulation room at the end of the movie, which is where they fight the real space battle, but they fight it like drone warfare from a computer-controlled environment. So the challenge there was, how do you make this visually exciting? In some ways you can sit the kids behind a computer and they just type and the video game. I thought that's not very exciting. So I look at iPads and tablets, and we do these things. We zoom and we make movements, and so we understand that you can do things that move the world.
How was those things that you are flying like in zero gravity? How do you make that?
Well, we had harnesses and we had lots of wires, and we had a lot of training before where we practiced, just spending long periods of time up there, and we had so much fun. It wasn't comfortable. The suits were really hot and really tight, but yeah, we had a lot of fun.
I thought, what if we just amp that, make that just a huge idea? And I was sitting in a planetarium with my young children. They love to go to the planetarium and look at stars and space. And I thought, wow, okay, this is the idea. We put a big projector that projects a virtual world all around us with the spaceships all around us. And then, just like the conductor of an orchestra, you conduct the battle, but just like a person using an iPad, you move that world around you and rotate it. And that might just be the coolest video game we could play. And it would also give me the opportunity to cut between close-ups of those young actors and then clean POV shots where you see real space vehicles and things, and it feels as real as possible because they are actually controlling real spaceships. So how to combine the idea of a game plus reality? It took me a while to figure it out, but I'm very excited by that sequence.
He's a hero. He's abandoning his entire fleet. He's in command. There's no stopping him now.
In 3, 2, 1.
And this could be a saga. Are you prepared for being part of a huge story with a lot of fame and with all that comes after that?
Maybe. I mean, I'd love to be able to do this again and play Ender again. But we just want to give this film all the love and attention it deserves, and we'll just have to wait and see.
Finally, what can you tell to all the book fans that are waiting this adaptation in the screen?
Well, first of all, I'm a fan of the book myself. So the one thing I would say to the fans of the book is that I decided in the movie to put Ender, the central character, in every single scene of the movie, in order to make sure that we understand the way we do in the book, what he's thinking and feeling. In the book, it's so much about what happens inside his head, these complicated, his anger, his frustration, his disappointed, his feeling of being manipulated. These are complicated ideas to move from a book to a movie. And I think that the way to do it in the movie is to stay with Ender Wiggin all the time so you feel the experience as he feels it.
My father grew with your movies, and I also, and now a lot of young people will see your performance in this movie. How do you feel with this part of your career?
Well, you know, part of the luck of my career is that I made the Star Wars films and the Indiana Jones films, which are being passed on from generation to generation. Some of the people who were young people at the time that Star Wars came out are now grandparents. Yes. And they pass on from one generation to another these films because they have a family value, yeah, and they're great entertainment. I think this film also has that aspect to it. While it's you don't always expect from science fiction the seriousness of the underlying themes and the subject matter that this film has. So I think this is a very important family film.
600 people who all work together. We encourage notes and collaboration, but to wrangle all that, it's really good to have